The Jim Mora Show, Special Draft Edition, with your host, Larry Matson.
Your overall view of how the draft went and how these 12 men stack up.
I think it went well, Larry, but our position's always been you have to wait 2 or sometimes 3 years to really get a handle on how good these kids are going to be. You have just read off the pluses of these players, and it would sound like every one is a world beater. None of them are a sure thing, but I think we have the percentages on our side with people like Knight and Hill, for example, who are proven big league competition. They have the skills, and they should be good players when they come into the National Football League. But I think the most important thing about those two is their approach to the game. I think they've gotten where they are today by being self-motivated, competitors, people who want to get better, and those are the kind of people you win with. Physical qualities are important, but the essential thing you have to have is the right kinds of people that really want to excel in this business.
You mentioned last year during the draft, just take over the job.
That's for sure.
#1 draft choice, Jim, Shawn Knight. He is certainly a physical specimen. You said he'd look good coming off the bus, getting off the bus, and I think he will indeed do that.
Right. Well, that's the first thing you notice about Shawn is his size. He's just an immense man. You know, he's over 6'6" and over 290 pounds and put together. The second thing that I noticed about Shawn when I watched him on film was the intensity that he played with. He just plays as hard as he can play every down, regardless of the situation, the score, anything in the game. He's just giving it 100% and more, and we like these kind of people.
It's unusual to see a big lineman chase the running back who was already broken free and running for a touchdown all the way to the goal line, but I think you mentioned that you had seen that in the films.
Yeah, we'd seen that on the film. I mean, it was obvious that he wasn't going to catch this guy before he crossed the goal line, but he was giving it a full effort all the way until the guy had scored. And as I say, these are the kind of people you win with.
Presented by Jay Romig and Dan Simmons, and had the 6th pick of the draft. Many people felt they would take a running back. Others guessed a lineman. Their selection obviously caught Pete Rozelle off guard because he mispronounced his name.
New Orleans Saints. Selection on the first round, Jim Dombrowski, offensive tackle, Virginia.
The Saints had him rated as the top guy at his position, and the ESPN rating system was equally impressed as his numbers indicated. The next day, Jim Dombrowski and Dalton Hilliard talked with the local media about their draft experience. They were introduced by General Manager Jim Finks.
You all know which one's the tackle, and you know which one's the running back, I'm sure of that.
And what was Jim Dombrowski's initial reaction upon being selected by the New Orleans Saints?
Well, my first reaction was excitement about being drafted at all, and then once I started to think about the New Orleans Saints and what I knew about it, I became more excited because they have a very young team, and it's a new coaching staff, new owner, and the possibilities are unlimited here. I mean, it looks like everybody's excited about changing what has happened in New Orleans in the past and around, and getting some winning football seasons under the belt here and going to the playoffs, and it looks like everybody's headed in that direction, so I'm excited about that.
Running back Dalton Hilliard of LSU, the all-time Tiger rusher, who ranks only behind Herschel Walker and Bo Jackson in SEC career rushing. A lot has been said and written about Hilliard's size. At only 5'8", many compare him to Joe Morris.
Well, yes, it really do encourage me, because the idea is like the little guys have, you know, really made it in the NFL, and saying that you're short and really not having the talent to play because of your size. And that really gives me an incentive to go out and sort of keep the streak going and prove to the rest of the organization in the NFL that doesn't matter what, you know, your size is, or what your performance is on the field.
What many people fail to recognize is Hilliard weighs 200 pounds, and every ounce is solidly packed low to the ground on that 5'8" frame.
But the agents were really after me at that time, and finally I signed for a $3,500 bonus and $17,000 contract, so big bucks.
That's incredible compared to today's numbers. I'm sure it mind boggles, doesn't it?
Well, Stan carries it as pocket change now, you know. Go buy a meal and buy his wife a dress.
There are a lot of people who may not know the story. I'd like you to relate that story to us about being cut, really not being given the chance to make the club that you had been promised, and you went on to make the team, set an NFL record. You hold right now, I think, most yardage by a receiver for a Saint, most catches in a career. 37 touchdowns is still a record. 3 in one ball game. All of those are Saints records.
Well, Larry, I can remember when I first went in there, I just asked Coach Fears to give me the opportunity because I knew as a 17th round draft choice, they didn't even want to feed me. If they could get rid of me in a hurry, they could save some money in that area. And we were going through plenty of people in training camp that first year. In fact, I think we wore out about 8 clutches on cars getting guys back and forth to the airport. And I had gone through like 6 roommates. And finally one day, the knock was on the door and it was for me. And they told me to bring my playbook. And of course, I left my playbook in my room and I went down to Tom Fears and said, Coach, you didn't give me a chance to make this ball club, and I'm not going till you give me a chance.
You went on to catch balls in 106 games straight that set an NFL record.
Well, as you say, I guess that's what happened. Yeah, I did get the opportunity, and it was through special teams, though. I can say that for young guys out there. I didn't come right in and start. I had to run down on them suicide squad and block on the punts and kickoffs, so that was the opportunity. But when I got the opportunity, I capitalized on it.
I don't think anybody will ever forget number 46 for the New Orleans Saints, Danny Abramowicz.